Black Sabbath is widely regarded as one of the most influential bands in the history of music, laying the very foundation of heavy metal as we know it. Emerging from Birmingham, England in the late 1960s, their dark and sludgy riffs, haunting lyrics, and raw energy revolutionized rock music and birthed a new genre. Fronted by the unmistakable voice of Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath's early records, Paranoid, Master of Reality, and Black Sabbath set a blueprint for decades of metal to come, inspiring generations of bands across the globe. And today the world mourns the loss of a true icon. Ozzy Osbourne has passed away, and more than just the voice of Black Sabbath, Ozzy was a cultural force, an eccentric showman and a boundary pusher, and a symbol of rebellion for millions. His death marks the end of an era, but the legacy he helped create with Black Sabbath will echo forever in the music history. Black Sabbath began in the industrial heart of Birmingham in England in 1968. The original lineup was Ozzy Osbourne with the vocals, Tony Iommi with the guitar, and Geezer Butler with the bass, and Bill Ward with the drums. And they came together under humble, gritty circumstances, initially playing blues rock under names like the Polka Tulk Blues Band and Earth. The group eventually shifted direction after realizing that audiences were more drawn to darker and heavier sounds. Their turning point came when they decided to create music that felt like horror films sounded, and it's inspired by a cinema across the street from their rehearsal space showing horror movies. They wrote the song Black Sabbath featuring tritons of the Devil's Interval and ominous lyrics that would define their sound. With that, band adopted the name Black Sabbath and unknowingly birthed a new genre, heavy metal. In a time when peace and love dominated rock music, Black Sabbath's music reflected a different reality, one filled with war, corruption, addiction, and inner demons. Their self-titled debut album, released on Friday the 13th in February 1970, introduced the world to something truly new, dark, heavy, and unapologetically raw. It was the dawn of something that would forever alter the landscape of music.
Regular number about new LP notes, so not many take low, man. If you want to clap, you can. All right, now. That's at the roof. I want everybody to clap. There's somebody not clapping, I can see. Now, louder. Stamp your head.
Following their groundbreaking debut, Black Sabbath wasted no time solidifying their place in rock history. Just months later, in September 1970, they realized Paranoid, an album that not only defined the legacy, but also became one of the most important records in rock music. With iconic tracks like Iron Man, War Pigs, and the title track Paranoid, the album captured the angst and chaos of a generation grappling with the Vietnam War, political unrest, and the darkness of modern life. Tony Iommi crushing riffs, forged after he lost the tips of two fingers in a factory accident, became a signature part of the band's sound. It was thick, sludgy, and innovative, and Geezer Butler's bass lines and lyrics added depth and social commentary, while Bill Ward's jazz-influenced drumming brought complexity. At the center was Ozzy Osbourne, whose eerie, nasal vocals gave Sabbath a voice unlike any other, which was both hypnotic and haunting. Throughout the early 1970s, Sabbath continued to release heavy-hitting albums that pushed their sound forward. with Master of Reality in 1971, which introduced drop tuning and doom-laden riffs, and Volume 4 in 1972, drenched in experimentation and excess, and then Sabbath Bloody Sabbath in 1973, with a more progressive edge and complex arrangement. Despite their success, the band's internal struggle began to mount. Drug and alcohol abuse, combined with mounting pressure from fame and relentless touring, started to wear them down. By the late 1970s, tension peaked, and in the 1979, Ozzy Osbourne was fired from the band due to his substance abuse and erratic behavior.
You have a tour starting tomorrow. Is it always like this, or is this an exception?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Come
it
on! Come on! Yeah. No. It's like we did. What? 16 days ago we got over from Japan.
While Sabbath carried on with the new vocalists like Ronnie James Dio, releasing critically praised albums like Heaven and Hell in 1980, it was clear that the original magic had changed. Meanwhile, Ozzy embarked on a wildly successful solo career, releasing Blizzard of Oz and commenting his status as the Prince of Darkness. Though the band went through numerous lineup changes over the years, Black Sabbath's early work continued to influence metal, punk, grunge, and even alternative music. From Metallica to Nirvana, countless artists have cited that Sabbath was the key influence. After being fired from Black Sabbath in 1979, many believed Ozzy Osbourne's career was over. He was deeply addicted to drugs and alcohol, emotionally wrecked, and considered by some to be unmanageable. But what followed was one of the most unexpected and successful comebacks in rock history. With the help of his future wife and manager Sharon Arden, later Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy pulled himself out of a downward spiral and launched a solo career that would eclipse even his time with Sabbath in terms of commercial success and cultural impact. In 1980, he released Blizzard of Oz, featuring guitarist Randy Rhoads, whose neoclassical metal playing redefined guitar work in the genre. And this album includes hits like Crazy Train, which is arguably Ozzy's most iconic solo track, Mr. Crowley, a theatrical ode to the infamous Acutist, and Suicide Solution, a controversial song that landed Ozzy in legal trouble despite being about the danger of alcoholism. And in 1982, tragedy struck when Randy Rhoads dies in a plane crash. Ozzy was devastated but pressed on, recruiting new guitarists like Jakey Lee and later Zakk Wylde, who would become a longtime collaborator. He continued to release successful albums throughout the 80s and early 90s, like Diary of a Madman, Bark at the Moon, The Ultimate Sin, No Rest for the Wicked, No More Tears, with hits like Mama, I'm Coming Home, and the epic title track. Ozzy's image as the Prince of Darkness was solidified, pod myth, pod mon pod spectacle, and known for biting the head of a bat on stage, accidentally thinking it was fake, and the other infamous moment, Ozzy was seen as a dangerous, unpredictable, exactly what rock fans craved. During his time, Ozzy became a frequent target of criticism from religious groups, politicians, and the media. He was accused of promoting Satanism, suicide, and violence, often based on misunderstanding of his lyrics or his over-the-top persona. Yet this only enhanced his appeal to rebellious youth, and his concerts consistently sold out. Ozzy also became a household name even beyond music. His influence helped bring heavy metal into the mainstream, and he was a key figure in breaking down the wall between serious rock and theatrical wild performance. In 1996, Ozzy and Sharon created Ozfest, a touring festival that gave a platform to both legendary metal acts and rising stars like Slipknot, System of a Down, and Limp Bizkit. It was a vital force in keeping metal alive in the 1990s and the early 2000s, especially as grunge and alternative rock dominated the mainstream. After decades of ups and downs for Black Sabbath, The original lineup, minus Bill Ward due to contract disputes, reunited for a final album called 13 in 2013, and a farewell tour that ended in their hometown of Birmingham in 2017. The moment was deeply symbolic, and a band that started in the bleak heart of industrial England had gone on to create an entire genre and come full circle. And now, with the passing of Ozzy Osbourne, it truly feels like the end of an era. Ozzy was more than a frontman, he was the soul of Black Sabbath's wild, chaotic, and deeply human spirit. His voice, his presence, and his unpredictable genius helped change music forever. But while Ozzy may be gone, the legacy of Black Sabbath is immortal. Their influence lives on in every downturn riff, every rebellious lyric, and every young band daring to make something dark, loud, and unapologetically real.